I made it through my first week of school, back in school, and I'm really tired, hence how that song makes no sense. Welcome to my channel. I made it through week 1 of spring semester. I don't like school. I like school, but I don't like my semester this semester. Anyway, today's video is going to be about what I'm recommending this month on Birchbox, what I'm recommending this month on NatureBox, what I'm recommending this month on the box, the box full of boxes. Ooh, so many boxes. I'm stopping now. Now, I'm going to do a recommendations video about some books that you probably haven't heard of. Some of these you probably have heard of, but haven't thought to read, or you haven't heard of them, or you've heard of them in passing, or you have heard of them a lot. So really, it's just a whole array of your own personal experience, obviously. I was going to do an anticipated releases book thing, but I don't know. They're just basically the same as everybody else. I'm very excited about the sequel to Diviners coming out pretty soon. It comes out in like April. I'm very excited about Minnie Kaling's new book of essays. It comes out in the fall. Other things. Carrie Hope Fletcher's book sounds just like it's going to be pretty good. So, the Shadow Cabinet, Maureen Johnson, other Red Queen, other ones. But anyway, so I'm deciding not to do that. But I'm going to do a recommendation video because I want to do this, obviously. Alright, so first I want to recommend, they're in kind of categories. The first book I want to recommend is a book about books. I love books about books a lot. And you probably enjoy them every once in a while. And this is a great book about books. It's called Who the Hell is Pansy O'Hare? The Fascinating Stories Behind the 50 of the World's Best Loved Books by Jenny Bond and Chris Sheedy. I read this out loud to my mother on a really long car trip a couple summers ago. It's basically literally little tiny, very quick, short, like, I don't know, essays, I guess. They're not really essays, but they're like essays about how 50 of the most famous books came to be. So you have The Godfather, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Da Vinci Code, Jane Eyre, Pride and Prejudice, other War and Peace. It's really, really interesting. It's really, there's a lot of moments where you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. It's very small and short. I really enjoyed reading this out loud in the car. If you like audiobooks, I guess you could read it. I don't know if there's an audiobook version, but I really enjoyed this. This is a really fun book, and you learn a lot of interesting information that I actually used in one of my classes last year. Next is, I think Emily Jean showed this in her bookshelf tour. I don't know if she's read it yet. But it's a chick lit because I do sometimes read chick lit, and I like all genres, so I like to plug all the genres. But this is Loved Walked In by Marissa de los Santos. On Goodreads, it sort of has a very mixed rating, but I read this in February or January so last year, and I was going through the initial start of my very hard year, and I read this and it really connected with me. It's incredibly touching. It's about a woman who is dating this very wealthy man, and she like works at a coffee shop. And the wealthy man has a daughter, and the daughter's mother, they're divorced, and the daughter's mother just, like, is pretty much insane and leaves the daughter, and she's about 12 or so. And it's about how this relationship between this young girl and this young woman forms. And it's really beautiful. It isn't really a love story. I would say it's more about these two people, like this little girl and this woman coming together and becoming friends and, like, really starting a connection. It's really beautiful, and I really, really loved it a whole lot. So I think, I don't know, I really liked it. It's also very short, so yes, Loved Walked In. It's really surprising, this book. But Sarah Jessica Parker liked it, so you know it's going to be good when SGP likes it. SJP. Okay, next is literary fiction, and that is Possession by S. Byatt. This won the Booker Prize in the 90s. I did a video review of this a little while ago. A lot of people have read this, but not a lot of people that I've seen on BookTube have read this. Basically, it's about academics trying to figure out some stuff that's going on with some dead poets. And, I don't know, it's very, very interesting. It's a little long in terms of just, like, it's like 500 pages. Yeah, and it's very small font and, like, Bible thin pages. I mean, not that thin, but pretty thin. And there's a lot of, like, the writer S. Byatt wrote a lot of, like, poetry that's supposed to be from the 1800s. I don't know, it's really interesting and complex. And it's a book that I'm glad I read, although I don't remember a lot of what happens in it. I'm still really glad I read it, and I recommend it for people who enjoy literary fiction, because it's kind of in the right wheelhouse for that, especially literary fiction about academics, so I think there's a lot of that out there. Next is historical fiction / comedy / quirkiness, and that is The Pigeon Pie Mystery by Julia Stewart. I went to high school with a girl named Julia Stewart, fun fact. This book I read while I was in London a couple years ago. I got it at a used bookstore, and it's basically a really fun novel about this girl, this woman, and she's a princess of this, like, Middle Eastern country, and she's in, like, Victorian England, and she goes to live somewhere, some sort of palace, like Hampton Court. She goes to live in Hampton Court, and it's about her and the residents of Hampton Court, and, like, a murder happens. I'm trying to figure out what happens. I read this a long time ago, so I don't remember a lot of stuff that happens in this book, but I remember really enjoying it and having a really fun time reading it, and it's really just a fun book, and it's really interesting, and it's fun to read about someone who was of a different ethnicity in this time period and was a princess and, like, all this other stuff. It's really a fun book. It's got a really fun cover, so that's a fun one. Next, I have a YA contemporary novel, and that is The Bermuda Triangle by Maureen Johnson. I feel like Maureen Johnson is known for a lot of her other books, but not really The Bermuda Triangle. It's one of her earlier books. It has a different name now. I don't remember what the name is. But it's about three best friends right before their senior year of high school. One of the friends goes off to a camp, like an academic camp in California, and meets a boy and falls in love. And the other two friends start a relationship, a secret clandestine relationship, and it's about like dealing with sexuality and dealing with family and dealing with friendship. It's a really great book. I really enjoyed it. Mine is signed, which is cool, I guess. Oh, anyway, this is just a very good read. Goodreads. Follow me on Goodreads. Let's see what I did there. Next is a historical fiction YA book. I wanted to put this in here because I feel like this book series doesn't get enough love, and also the fourth book in the series comes out this year, and I'm very excited about it. That's another anticipated release of mine. And that's The Agency by Y.S. Lee. I said Y.S. Lee. I feel like some people know about this, but not enough people have read it. Because the first book isn't amazing. It's alright. But the series gets better and better, and the two books after it are so good. It's about a girl named Mary Quinn, and she's half Chinese, and she's living in Victorian England, and she's an orphan, and she was, like, a criminal, and she's about to get executed, and then these ladies save her, and they take her to this academy, and then, like, when she's, like, 18 or so, they're like, do you want to be a secret agent? And she's like, yeah. She's like, we're a secret agency, because not anybody knows about us, and we hide as, like, ladies' maids, and, like, maids, and I'm getting excited, and I just brushed my teeth, so, like, my throat is very dry. But anyway, this is super fun, and oh my god, the dude in this book and her relationship is really fun. It's really fun. But please, someone else read this. I really loved it. Not the first book, but the rest of the book. I mean, it's good, but the rest of the book's amazing. Just stick with it. Next, I have a book that you probably have read one of her books, but maybe not one of her books. It's a memoir, and that is More Anthology by Caitlin Moran. Most people have read How to Be a Woman. I said How to Beat a Woman. That's a completely different book written by someone I don't want to ever meet. But How to Be a Woman is a great book. I haven't read most of it. Like, I've been reading for a very long time because I just read it on, like, ebook whenever I have a chance. And I really, really enjoy it. But I really love More Anthology. I think I'm going to say More Anthology than How to Be a Woman. I love How to Be a Woman, but this is a collection of her articles, I think in the Daily Mail or something in England, and it's about culture, and it's about current events, and about lots of other stuff, and it's really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Finally, I'm going to recommend a graphic novel, sort of, comic book, and this was something that I showed in my last book haul, and that is Soapy by Philippa Rice, a love story. This is just the cutest, guys. It's so cute. If you have a significant other, get this for them for Valentine's Day, because it's just adorable, and I really loved it, and it was just so sweet. I want to reread it again. I mean, it would take me 5 minutes, but it's just very cute. Anyway, finally, my film book. Oh, I'm just kidding. That is my recommended reads thing. Anyway, have a wonderful day. You're awesome. High five yourself. Do it. Do it right now. Anyway.